Okay, y'all. You know what we're talking about today? We are talking about the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause that no one else seems to be talking about, or at least not very many people. And so, if you are having some weird symptoms that you never thought that you would experience before, or they just kind of came out of nowhere, and you have no idea why you're having them, but you kind of feel like they might be connected to perimenopause or menopause, I'm here to tell you they probably are, and we are going to talk about them today. So, as always, if you see me glancing over to the side here, it's just because I have a few bullet points of information written out because one new development with my menopause journey is I just don't have the memory that I used to, both short term and long term. And so I just want to make sure that I hit the points that I wanted to talk to you guys about. My name is Amanda Santos. I am 48 years old. I have been postmenopausal for 2 years. Perimenopause and menopause rocked my entire world. Entire world. Yeah, it was insane. It was a really crazy time in my life until I kind of started managing things, but I had no idea what this was going to be like. I know my mom went through menopause around the same age as I did. I don't know if she struggled as much as I did, or if she did, she just fought through it. There's a whole generation of women that did not get access to HRT and just to options in general, or even to any compassion going through these things. And so she just was not ever offered that. So I think that a lot of women that generation just were kind of told to shut up, suck it up, and deal with it. And so maybe that's what she did. I'm not sure. So that's another subject for another time, and I would love to talk about that on another video. But everyone seems to talk about like all of the normal symptoms. And I know that when the first thing that comes up when someone talks about perimenopause or menopause is hot flashes. And I had those. They were absolutely debilitating. I had dozens and dozens and dozens of them every night and every day. Dozens of them. I will say, I think the word hot flash really does a disservice to what that symptom actually feels like. Because for me, and you guys tell me if you have the same experience, but for me, a hot flash was just not enough to describe it. It felt like this ball of heat and anxiety that started like in my solar plexus right here and then spread outward to my entire body. But it wasn't just heat, it was a reaction with my nervous system. It was like every single nerve stood on end. It was an emotional feeling of being completely overwhelmed and overtaken. It was a red skin from head to toe, my chest and my face, everything was red. And of course, all of the sweat that came along with it, and then the chills afterwards and all of that. But I just want to point out that the word and term hot flash does not do it justice to what actually is going on in our bodies when that happens, because I know it just did not feel like, oh yeah, I'm a little warm right now, right? Like that's not what it was for me. So I'm curious too, if you guys had a different experience kind of like I did, or the hot flashes were more intense for you, put a comment down below, because I would love to hear from you and see if other women experience that too. But I want to talk about the symptoms that are a little less known, like the symptoms where you're like, wait, what is this? Like, what is going on here? Is this a part of perimenopause? Is this a part of menopause? Because in my journey, I have since learned that it is responsible for dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of symptoms. Not to say that some of those symptoms couldn't be caused by something else, but the first culprit is probably going to be menopause and hormone issues. So I want to go through a few of those symptoms and just talk about like the weird stuff, like the dry eyes, the joint pain, feeling like just a crazy, like raging monster. And I would love to know if you are dealing with any of these, and if it makes you feel a little crazy, and if it makes you feel like you are alone in this journey. Let me assure you, you are not. So just know that going into it. But I want to talk about a few of these just weird symptoms that I had, share my experience, and then share some of the things that helped and then what didn't help. Okay. So when I first started going through the menopause journey, I started with the usual symptoms, just like I said, had hot flashes. Heavy periods was a huge one for me. I did not recognize it at the time. Looking back on it now, I think I've mentioned this in other videos where there were periods where I could not get out of bed for 3 or 4 days because they were so heavy and so painful. That's not normal. Like, come on, that's not normal. And I think I even told you guys that my daughter at the time was like, Mom, why did you put up with that for so long? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I wish I hadn't. I wish I had taken better care of myself. So that all started. I had the hot flashes. I had the heavy periods. I think when I first started testing things, when I first kind of thought things were off, everything tested okay, or at least that's what they said. And so I didn't make the connection. So it turns out that these lesser known symptoms are ridiculously common, but no one really warns you like, oh, hey, this might happen. Just like heads up, this is coming and you might want to be prepared for it. Because I feel like if I would have known that it was that a possibility, I could have mentally prepared myself, but I was not mentally prepared. So symptom number one that was very impactful to me, changed my life, was very, I don't want to say debilitating, but it was very severe. And it's a weird one. Dry eyes. Very severe dry eyes. Now, one thing that I think is interesting is a lot of the symptoms that I have are very similar to symptoms that my mom has now or had when she was my age. I don't know if this is a genetic thing. I don't know if this is a hormone thing. I'm not sure. But she also suffers from dry eye and dry eye disease. Mine has definitely progressed to dry eye disease. And in fact, my optometrist says that it's actually rosacea at this point, which is just an inflammatory disease. Oh, wait, little side note here, ladies. I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I do not have any medical credentials. And so when I talk about medical stuff and things that I have done to help myself and experiences that I've had, I am just telling you from my perspective, and I am sharing my journey and my experience. And I am just doing this for educational purposes and just sharing my journey and what helped me. I am not giving medical advice. Please, please consult an actual doctor when you make medical decisions. Okay? Getting that out of the way. But so that dry eye was just, it was really bad. And kind of like everything else, I put up with it for way too long. And because I put up with it for way too long, by the time I got to the point where I looked at some treatment for it, it was to the point where it was like actual rosacea in my eyes, which is just this kind of cycle and never-ending cycle of inflammation. And so your eyes get dry, your glands, and there's different types of dry eye and it's caused by different things. But for me, my eyes were dry, obviously. And then so my glands stopped producing oil. Those glands get clogged. They don't produce and release the oil that is needed to lubricate the eye, which then causes further inflammation, which then further blocks the glands, which then causes further inflammation, which then causes more dry eye, and on and on and on the cycle goes. And so by the time I actually got it treated, my eyes were not happy. Like I was really in a lot of pain. I couldn't go outside, just even basic lights were really painful to me. And so I wish I had treated that sooner. And so here's a couple of things that helped me. And if this is a symptom for you, I would love to know about it. Drop it in the comments and tell me, like, if this is something you are experiencing, let me know, because this was a big one for me. And I had no clue that menopause and hormones affected the amount of moisture and the way that your eyes are operating. Okay. So here's a few things that helped me. A lot of preservative-free eye drops, just the kind like that they're in like almost little self-serve packets, preservative-free, and they're just moisture. There's other ones that have like allergy treatments, not redness relievers. That's not what I'm talking about. So play around with different kinds, but make sure they're preservative-free, just so you're not adding that layer of inflammation into your eyes. Those helped a lot. And so, but it got to the point where this is so ridiculous now that I'm looking back on it, so stupid. I would wake up in the morning. I had to have one of those little packets of drops next to me. And I remember telling my friend this, that I had to, when I wake up in the morning, I had to reach for those packets and put the moisture drops in my eyes just to be able to open my eyes, because they were so dry and gritty and irritated and inflamed. Like, how ridiculous is like that? That's so stupid. Why did I do that for so long? So, but that did help for a while until it didn't help. And I was using them just to be able to see in the morning or open my eyes in the morning. But that does help, like if you're in the earlier stages. An omega-3 supplement can actually be really helpful for dry eyes, but it's not an immediate treatment. It's not like you're going to take one and then feel better. You have to take it consistently for a while to actually see some results. HRT helped me. It definitely did. It just kind of balanced my hormones a little bit, replaced a little bit of the hormones that I did not have anymore. So that helped. The other thing that helped is a prescription medication that is a newer treatment for dry eye. It's called Meibo or Mibo. It's spelled Meibo. It is a prescription. What it does, and I swear these drops feel like a little bit of heaven when I put them in, is it helps keep your tear layer and your moisture layer for longer so that it doesn't evaporate as quickly. It has been very helpful for me. I got it from my optometrist. It was inexpensive. My insurance covered it. Sometimes it doesn't. So again, that's just my experience. You do have to put them in 4 times a day, but for me, I will put those things in 4 times a day until the day I die. Like, that's fine with me. It really helped and made a big difference. I know there's other treatments that I can do in office. I think like IPLs, some other like more expensive treatments that I can do to help stop that inflammation cycle. I just haven't been able to do that yet. I'm hoping to someday. So here's my last tip. This is an important one as I sit here and stare at my screen. I am a digital marketer. I sit here and I stare at screens all day long. I build AI. I do things. I'm on Zoom meetings all day long. I'm staring at screens. And there could not be something worse for your eyes, honestly. And so it's not good for your eyes, even if you don't have dry eyes. But if that's an issue, it's an issue. So I found this app called Lookaway, and it is paid, but you pay one time, you get a license for your computer, and you get it forever. You can change the settings, but basically every 20 minutes, this lovely little sound pops up and this little bubble thing and says, hey, it's time for a little eye break. And here's the rule. A break every 20 minutes, you look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. That is the rule. This has made an immense difference with my eyes and how they feel throughout the day. So if you're on screens a lot, I highly recommend that you check out Lookaway. And I'm not associated with the app at all, just telling you again what's worked for me. So, and then you can change the settings, obviously. And I do have one where it like once every hour, it goes for 5 minutes. And so I get up and do a little workout. But big difference. It's made a huge difference with screen time and the way my eyes feel. So that's dry eye. That's symptom number 1. I hope some of those suggestions were helpful for you. But please, if that's something you've experienced, because I haven't met too many women that have had really severe dry eye stuff like I have. So if that's something you've gone through, please leave a comment before. Symptom number 2, joint pain. Y'all, like it feels like one day I woke up and I just felt like I had aged 20 years overnight. And I remember even years ago, like, I don't know, maybe 42, 43, years before I started HRT, there were times where I just had a lot of joint pain, especially when I wasn't feeling good or like when I had a virus. I would always feel it just like a cold. I would always feel it in my joints. Like my elbows would ache, my hands would ache, my knees, my ankles, like just really, really deep aching pain. And that joint pain was pretty intense and it was just really stiff and achy. And then that very much escalated as my perimenopause escalated, right? So as the hormones went down, or it's like roller coaster that goes down, my joint pain went up. And it's to the point now where I know when my estrogen or estradiol is low, and I've forgotten to change my patch on my butt because my joints really start to hurt. So joint pain was a huge one with me. And so here are the things that have worked for me. Exercise, just really gentle exercise, moving, even when I didn't feel like it, has been huge. Again, I sit at a desk all day, and I'm guessing that a lot of you do too. That's a pretty common job, like in the world, right? So make sure that you're getting up and you're moving, even when you don't feel like it. I've done a lot of fitness stuff over my lifetime. I've taught a lot of exercise classes, a lot of bar classes. Bar is really big on flexibility. And so I just really rely on those stretches, a lot of yoga poses to just get things moving. I also use that Lookaway app, like I said, when I get up from my computer or I rest my eyes to move my body and my joints. So important. Exercise in general is important. We'll talk about that on another video, right? And so HRT definitely helped. Like I said, I know when that estradiol goes down that my joint pain goes up, but I still have to stay active to feel really good. So if you're suddenly feeling like the Tin Man and you just can't feel like you don't feel like you can move and get up in the morning, you're like, this is like how an 80-year-old should feel, not 48, right? Just know that you are not crazy. The hormones can absolutely mess with your joints big time, and know that that is something that is happening in your body. It's okay, it's real, and it's okay to admit that that's happening. So those are the things that help me. Try those. And again, if this is something that's bothered you and you've really struggled with, again, I would love to hear from you. Okay, next symptom. This one's a little embarrassing to admit. Just the emotional rage, like the emotional instability, especially like right before I got on HRT, when I had literally undetectable levels of hormones in my body. You guys, it was not good. It was not pretty. I was not nice. I was not kind. I was not in my right mind. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not, poking fun at mental health. I felt, and I know I've used this term a lot, I felt like a shell of a person, but I felt deeply, deeply bothered by everything in my life. And when I say everything, I do mean everything. My beautiful kids, my lovely husband, my home, my dogs, my cats, this desk, this Stanley Cup. Like, there was nothing that did not annoy the ever loving crap out of me. And it was really hard to manage because I felt like just getting into my car and driving away and not dealing with anything. It was that intense. And it was almost jarring because I was just thinking to myself, like, why am I this worked up? I've never been like a super chill person. Okay, I'm gonna be real honest. Like, I'm a redhead, I'm a little feisty. But this was next level. Like, I've been with my husband for over 20 years. I've got one kid out of the house. I've got two teenagers. I've been through some things, okay? And I know how to handle some things. I did not know how to handle this. This was just so off the charts, like not normal for me. And so if you're feeling that way, and if you are finding yourself like snapping over the smallest things, you're finding yourself like, ready to actually tackle your husband because he's chewing too loud or he made something stinky in the kitchen, which I'm going to talk about that in another video too, let me tell you. But if you're feeling like that, just know that there is a reason for it. There is a actual physiological reason for it. You are not crazy. You are not, it's real. It's real. And yes, it is you. And we have to take responsibility for our actions and our emotions, because it's not fair to lash out on people. It's not fair to be, verbally abusive or any of those things. It's not okay. But it is okay to realize that there is a reason for it. And it is okay to get yourself help so that you can be the person that you need to be for, number one, yourself, and number two, your family, right? Because everybody tells us this as moms, like, oh, well, you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your kids. I don't know too many moms that are good at that. Let me tell you something. When you get to the point of perimenopause and menopause, you're not going to have a choice. You have to take care of yourself. There is no longer a choice in it, because if you don't, you have the possibility of your entire world crashing down and your entire body and mind falling apart. I don't mean to be dramatic about it, right? But that is really how it felt for me. And so again, here are the few of the things that helped for me, okay? I've talked about this, I feel like on almost every video. Tracking your days. If you're still cycling, if you're still having periods, make sure you're writing those down. My hair looks so crazy, you guys. Oh, okay. We're just going to go with it. Okay. Make sure you are tracking things, writing things down, especially if you're cycling, so that you can make those connections to how you're feeling at certain times of the month and where your hormones are at, okay? So just get your little notebook down and write down your physical symptoms and your emotional symptoms so that you can look back and see. And it also serves as like a little record when you go to the doctor, so that hopefully you have a good doctor that doesn't do this, but you can actually point to like proof of like, this has been going on for 3 months, not 3 days, 3 months or 3 years or whatever it is. Track. And honestly, the other thing that I just had to learn how to do was remove myself from a situation when I was acting like that. I had to be very careful to just zip my mouth and leave the house, walk out the door, go in my room and lock the door so that, everybody knew, just to give me some space and so that I wasn't being unfair to them, right? So, and also just taking care of myself. So, taking a deep breath, realizing, like recognizing internally and externally, like, okay, this might be related to hormones. It doesn't mean I'm not feeling this way. The feelings are real, but there is a connection to what's going on with me hormonally. I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to step back. I'm going to go in my room. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to get in my car and go talk to my best friend. Whatever it is that you need to do, you have to remove yourself from the situation so that you don't explode. Like, that's really what has to happen. And then I will say, the biggest difference for me for stabilizing my moods was getting on HRT. I am not saying that that needs to happen for all of you. Every woman, I truly believe, has to make their own choice. For me, myself only, getting on HRT, I am on all three sex hormones, which are estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone, which are three sex hormones that we need as women. That was the thing that made the biggest difference for me. Honestly, it was almost immediate. And like I was saying, once I know that my estradiol is low and I've maybe forgotten to change my patch, I can always tell because my mood starts to change and I'm reacting to things that I wouldn't normally even care about. So just something there. And then I think it's important just to kind of give yourself permission to know that this is a part of the journey, and to look at it and realize that you don't have to power through it without help, and just acknowledging, like, hey, this isn't normal. This isn't normal for me. This isn't normal for my family. And it's okay to step back and give yourself permission to need support. That is okay. And so if you're feeling like you're just going to snap at any moment and you're not feeling like yourself, know that the hormones are massively at play, and that is a huge symptom that nobody really talks about. So make sure to get yourself some help if that's happening. Okay. And then here is, I'm going to run through these next two pretty quickly here. Oh, this one was fun. Acne, you guys, acne. I actually didn't put any makeup down here on my chin. Like, normally I would put concealer and foundation, and I don't typically wear a lot of makeup, but I would normally because I have so much acne scarring here around my chin and mouth. All of this, all of it is from the last 4 to 5 years of menopause and perimenopause. Not so much now that I'm on hormones. I get, maybe one acne or one pimple here and there. It's all perimenopausal. If I get brave, I might, like, I don't know, edit in a picture of what I can't even describe it. I swear it was like straight from the devil. I don't even know what this thing was, but I have a massive scar. You can kind of see it, like, right, I can feel it. Like, where is it? There's, like, right here, it's like, you can feel kind of like the tethering where there's just this, just kind of lump there. And it was huge. It was probably like the size of a dime. It had like 5 heads. It was cystic. It was deep. It was painful. That was the worst it ever got. But all of this redness here, and I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. All of these little individual red dots that I have around my mouth, all of this scarring and this red here is all from perimenopausal acne. And I'm pretty good about skincare. Like, I know what I need to do to take care of my skin. There was nothing I could do that would help those really, really deep hormonal cystic acne. It was awful. And it took my self-esteem took such a hit at that time, because it's just not fun to be like almost 50 years old and experiencing acne. I mean, like, come on, like, really, I'm going to get older. I'm going to have all these crazy hot flashes. I'm going to have massive, like, just gross acne. And then I also have to raise teenagers on top of it. Like, what kind of cruel joke is that? That's not fair. That is not fair. So, I just didn't like that time of my life, and I didn't leave the house a lot. I still don't really leave the house a lot, but a little bit better than it was. Okay, so here are the things that helped me. I truly believe, I was like, what do you mean? Like, it's a teenage thing. Acne is like, why am I going through this? It's not. It's also a hormone thing, and hormone things happen in this time of our life, right? Here's a few things that helped me. I I started using things that had a lot that were gentle, but also had a lot of chemical exfoliation. What I mean by chemical is not physical, not like scrubs and beads and things that are like rubbing off your skin. I was using things like alpha hydroxy acids, all of the different acids, a retinol. I found a couple of products from Walmart that are literally like the best. They are generic Walmart ingredients, and they're like the Walmart brand knockoffs for like a Rock product. I can't remember the other one. Might be even L'Oreal. They're like $10 each. They made a huge difference. I also have a couple other skincare things that I use, but a combination of the chemical exfoliation and then lots of moisture and being really religious about it, like ridiculously religious about it. If I did not wash my face at night for one night, I would have a pimple the next morning or the day after, like clockwork. And I just think that my body was really sensitive to any bacteria that was going on. And if I didn't remove that bacteria, it just went right in and caused problems. So, just using those products, and then other things too, like niacinamide and vitamin C, all those things help too. We can do a whole nother video on skincare if y'all like. Just let me know if that's something you want to talk about. I hate to say this because I love me some like sweet stuff, but changing my diet helped a lot. Cutting back sugars, cutting back processed foods. Dairy doesn't really seem to bother me, or like gluten is not an issue for me. It might be for you though, so play around with that. But just cutting back on sugar and processed foods helped a lot. HRT also, again, I hate to keep saying like this is the solution for all of these crazy side effects and symptoms of menopause, but when I brought the HRT on board, everything just kind of smoothed out almost immediately. Like I said, I only get one here or there. So if you have that going on, and especially if it's like a complete shock to you. Like you never had acne as a teenager. I did not really. I mean, like the occasional teenage pimple or whatever, but it was not a regular thing for me. So I was really shocked when it got that bad. Just know that it is hormonal. It is absolutely hormones, and it's not just like bad luck. And there are things that you can do about it. So gave you a few pointers there. That's just one that I was not expecting and was kind of really a bummer for me. Okay, last one. Digestive issues. Lots of tummy problems. Again, I am not a tummy problem person. I'm not someone that has like stomach issues. I don't get nauseous a lot. I don't get, indigestion. I don't get heartburn. I don't get diarrhea. I don't get those issues. I had so many digestive issues the few years before I got on HRT. And I am 100% certain that it was maybe not just caused by hormonal issues, but definitely exacerbated by them. That's for sure. And so I just started having just like lots of bloating and, gas and really just pains, like so many really painful issues. I remember a few years ago, I had family over for Thanksgiving one year, and it wasn't Thanksgiving Day, but whatever, they were here, we were visiting, and I had to go up in my bedroom and just like lay on my bathroom floor because I was having so many stomach pains and issues and just massive cramps. I stood to this day, I really don't know what they were. I had some tests and everything turned out fine. It all disappeared when I made some changes, number one, to my diet, and number two, got on HRT. So I don't know what that was about, but I do know from talking to lots of other women that digestive issues are absolutely a symptom of perimenopause and menopause. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Now, there's a lot of talk about gut health and making sure that gut health gets fixed and that it is kind of the root cause of a lot of other things. I do believe gut health is really, really important. And so it's something to work on just to feel better overall. I just know that no matter what I did during that time period, it was not fixed and it was not drastically better until I got HRT. Again, just my experience. Take that with a grain of salt, right? So here's some other things that helped me. Cutting out processed foods, cutting out sugars really helped a ton. I just didn't have the tolerance for a lot of the same foods that I did before. I also started taking a good probiotic, and that really seemed to make a difference. I also started my daughter on them too, or daughters on them. And so a good probiotic I think really helps. Diet changes help. And then the HRT again it pretty rapidly improved things when I started taking it. And so, again, if you're feeling off with like the gut health and it's new to you, try making those small like changes in your diet. Try the probiotic if that's something that you want to do. Again, not medical advice, only something that I can say worked for me and helped me during this transition and this time period in my life, right? But again, I just want you to know that connection is there, because it's so easy to just feel like we're crazy, right? Like in this, oh my gosh, like what, it's just the entire world feels like it's falling down when your health is not good in so many different areas and you just feel like crap all the time. That's not how we're supposed to feel. And it's very easy when it's gradual, when we just start feeling a little bit crappier and a little bit crappier and a little bit crappier and a little bit crappier. It's so easy to think that is normal. And I am here to tell you, you guys, it is not normal in our 40s or our 50s to feel like crap and be tired all the time. That is not a way to live. We deserve to have better than that. Okay. So those are just a few of the symptoms that no one told me about. I did not expect it. It took me a while to make the connection about it. And I know that I'm not alone in this. HRT definitely helped with a lot of them, probably most of them. It didn't solve everything. And so I'm just figuring out that perimenopause and menopause is it's just about kind of like a recipe, right? Of finding the right thing here and the right thing there to manage symptoms. And you have to mix all of those solutions to find a way that makes you feel good. Okay. So I just want to stop, blah, blah, blah. I just want to finish this off by telling you that if you are experiencing any of these symptoms or any of the other dozens of symptoms that are triggered and caused by hormonal issues like we're going through in this time of life, please give yourself some grace. Try a few things, but most importantly, get yourself some help. Find a good doctor who is willing to listen to you, that is knowledgeable about your whole body and your hormonal health, and advocate for yourself for some solutions, because this is no way to live. I really am truly saying this. I would not have survived that time if I had not gotten help, whatever that looked like, therapy, HRT, changing my diet, exercise, all of those things. I don't know that I would have made it through. And if I would have made it through, it would not have been pretty. I would not have been the person that I am today. I don't think that I would have had my family. And it was not a good time. So I am asking you two things. Well, really three things, maybe four things. Give yourself some grace, get yourself some help if these are challenges that you're having, because you deserve it. You deserve to feel good and you deserve to live the best life. Life is way too short to be feeling like crap for years and years and years. And we are in a position now, and I don't know how old you are or how old your kids are, but we have given and given and given and given our entire lives. At least I know I have, and I bet you have too. We've raised great kids. I'm finishing up raising those great kids. We're probably also taking care of parents, right? And being the caretaker there. We're being wives and working and doing all of these things. And it is now our time. It is our time to take that power back and take care of ourselves. It doesn't mean that we still can't give to other people, but this time of putting everybody else ahead of us and ahead of our health and our well-being has to end right now. It has to, because you're going to get to a point, if you are really struggling with this menopause journey, where you just won't be able to function because you are so burnt out on taking care of everybody else. You have no energy, time, or will to take care of yourself. And this whole journey, like I was saying, finding that recipe of figuring out what you need to feel good and move through this process in a way where you have like a good life. It takes some energy. It takes time. It takes some research. It takes some energy. It takes some focus. And it takes the ability to actually say to yourself, okay, I'm going to make this a priority. I am not going to feel like crap for the rest of 2025. I'm going to actually do something about it. Right? So that's what I want you to do. That's my second request. And then my last requests are, If this has been valuable to you, like if this is something that has been helpful to you in any way, I would really appreciate it if you would like this video, if you would share this video, if you would subscribe. And then honestly, like the best compliment I could possibly receive is just sharing your journey with me. So if this is something that you have experienced any of these symptoms, or you want to tell me about your own symptoms, I will respond to every comment because I want to hear about your journey. I want to know what it's been like for you and what crazy symptoms you've had that you were not expecting and that kind of knocked you on your butt because you had no idea it was coming. Please put that in the comments. I would love to hear about those. So that's my final request. And then, of course, if you'll subscribe and like and do all that fun stuff so that this reaches more people and I can make more videos, that would be incredibly awesome too. Okay, ladies, go take good care of yourself. Until next time.